If love could speak, it would whisper your name into the quiet spaces of the day, like the hush before dawn or the sigh after laughter. It would say it with a softness that only love understands, a gentleness that cradles meaning in every syllable. Your name would not be spoken casually. It would be honored, cherished, like the final note of a melody that lingers in the air long after the music ends. Love would not need to shout. It would speak in silences, in glances, in moments that feel too big for words. It would carry your name in raindrops, tuck it between pages of old books, hum it under its breath during long walks with no destination. It would say it when the sun filters through the trees just right, when the world feels still, when everything aligns in the softest kind of peace. If love could speak, it wouldn't explain itself with declarations or grand gestures. It would just say your name like it's the most natural thing in the world, and in that sound everything would make sense again. Your name would echo in every corner of love's memory, not like a ghost but like a presence, so vivid it remakes the moment each time it's remembered. If love could speak, it would speak your name with the awe of discovery, as though it had never heard anything quite like it before. It would carry the weight of every time your name has been spoken in joy, in grief, in longing, in silence. It would speak it like it knows how much it means to feel something so deeply that it changes you. Your name would be love's first language and its last word. It would be said in the way people light candles in the dark, in the way songs are sung when no one is listening but the soul. Love wouldn't rush through it. It would savor your name like honey, let it melt on its tongue, let it settle into the marrow of its being. If love could speak, it wouldn't need to say anything else. Your name would be enough, more than enough, to carry everything it feels, as if aligning themselves to honor it. It would breathe it into the wind, weave it into the folds of the sky, write it in patterns that only hearts understand. Love would not just say your name, it would mean it. With every syllable, it would carry years of emotion, unsent letters, unfinished sentences, and everything that couldn't be said in moments too fragile for words. Your name would be the way love shows its face without needing to be seen. It would be the way it reaches without touching, lingers without staying, holds without grasping. If love could speak, it would say your name with reverence, as if speaking it is a ritual, a sacred act that makes the world a little softer, a little brighter, and far more bearable just for the sound of you. Every time the wind brushes against my face, or the light changes just right, I imagine love saying your name, not loudly, but clearly, like a note held long after the song has ended. If love could speak, it wouldn't just say your name for me. It would say it for the sky to remember, for the trees to carry, for the oceans to echo in their endless rhythm. Love would sing your name into the earth, pressing it into the roots, letting flowers grow from its syllables. Your name would be its legacy, the proof that something beautiful existed even if only for a moment. Love would hold your name in its chest like breath, something it cannot live without. It would whisper it into every quiet moment, every time someone chooses hope instead of fear, kindness instead of anger. It would make your name a part of everything worth holding on to. Because if love could speak, it would not just say your name to remember you. It would say it to keep you alive in every way that matters. Love would carry your name in its silence. In the places where words fail and meaning lives in gestures, it would speak your name with presence alone. If love could speak, it would place your name on the tongue of every language, fold it into lullabies, and let it echo through the laughter of children and the tears of the grieving. It would never let the world forget the sound of you. Your name would become a compass for those who felt too lost to be found. It would be love's way of pointing back to something whole. It would not matter how many years pass, how far apart time pulls us. Your name would remain steady in love's memory, a lighthouse glowing in storm-tossed seas. If love could speak, it would speak your name at the threshold of every beginning, and softly at every ending. And each time it would sound a little different, sometimes like forgiveness, sometimes like fire, sometimes like a hand reaching across time. But always, always, it would carry the truth that you were known, that you were loved. Where loneliness echoes loudest, love would speak your name like a balm. If love could speak, it would whisper your name into grief's ear, reminding it that even in loss, something beautiful once lived. that your presence lit something in the world that cannot be dimmed by absence. Love would speak your name in the way night speaks to the stars, not to own them, but to remind them that they belong, that they're still seen. Love would not need to raise its voice. It would just say your name, again and again, like a rhythm that steadies the heart, like a memory that doesn't fade. No matter how much time passes, your name would be the way love tells the world, this mattered, this was real, and in saying it, over and over, love would stitch something whole again inside the places that have torn. Because your name, spoken in love's voice, is not just sound, it is healing, it is truth, it is the proof of everything that was and still is. When the world grows too heavy, and my thoughts scatter like leaves in a storm, love would gather them gently and center them around you. Your name would be the thread tying all the chaos into something beautiful. Love would say it without expectation, without demand, just like a gentle nudge in the direction of peace. It would say it like a song that has no chorus, no ending, only verses that evolve with every breath. Love would say your name in the in-between spaces, the pause before a reply, the stillness between heartbeats, the glance that holds more than words, and in that sound I would remember what it means to be grounded, to be moved, to be real. If love could speak, it would not say your name as a memory, but as a presence, something alive, something now, and even in the silence, I would hear it, always, because once love learns a name like yours, it never forgets how to say it. In the way its hands tremble with feeling, in the way its steps are drawn toward warmth. If love could speak, your name would be etched into the way it touches everything, with reverence, with awe, with knowing. It would say your name like the answer to every question it had been asking since the beginning of time. Love would wear your name like armor and surrender all at once. It would not fear saying it. It would not hesitate. Love would speak your name and everything unspoken would suddenly make sense. The heartache, the joy, the waiting, all of it would find its shape in that one sound. Because some names are more than identity. They are arrival, they are awakening, they are the sound of being found. And even if the world forgets, love would not. Love would say your name into every sunrise and every dusk, over oceans and rooftops, through time and memory, and in that repetition, in that devotion your name would become a hymn that never ends, and settle with the stars. It would be love's way of promising that nothing is ever really gone, that what is true always finds a way back. Love would speak your name when I can't, when my voice breaks, when my heart is too full or too shattered to make sound. It would lift your name out of me gently, like a thread from a tangle, and it would hold it with care. Because love doesn't just speak, it listens, and your name is the only thing it hears when the world grows too loud. If love could speak, it would not speak often, but when it did your name would be first, and last, and everything in between. Because your name is the only word that's ever made love feel whole. And in every life, in every version of this story, I believe love would still choose to say it.